Jai Jai Shri Radhe Shri Vallabhadish Ki Jai. Jai Shri Krishna. Continuing now with day 114 of our readings, and today's reading is about Krishna Das, Varta number 84, the Chaurasi Vaishnav Varta. Bhav Prakash. Here the question might arise as to how a soul can be accepted into the Leela without the intercession of Sri Acharyaji himself. The answer is given here. Sri Acharyaji resides in Krishna Das's heart. While it seemed that he was teaching her a pad, he was actually establishing her relationship to Sri Acharyaji. The first line said, "My mind has attached itself to Sri Krishna's beauteous form." In this line alone, she learnt the whole key to devotion, to focus one's heart and mind in the Lord. Sri Acharyaji would make a jiva, who was to be accepted, offer up to him their spouse, children, body, etc., in fact everything to which one is usually attached. When a jiva has given up their attachment to everything, it all becomes the Lord's, and at that stage only can they say, Shri Krishna alone is my refuge. Shri Krishna Hasharanam Mama. The pada expresses exactly this sentiment, that the heart gives up everything and adheres to that Lord alone. This is how Krishna Das established that girl's relationship with Sri Acharyaji. Another doubt might arise as to how she could enter the Leela without a guru. On one occasion, the Lord granted his direct sight to Ali Khan and his daughter, but he then also told them to become Sri Gosaiji's disciples, and they did. This is not the case here. She did not get initiated. Why, one might ask? In the Brahmasambandha process, the Lord commands, "Whomsoever you initiate with the Brahmasambandha, I shall accept as my own soul." This girl was not initiated by Sri Acharyaji nor by Sri Gosaiji, so then how did she gain direct entrance into the Lord's eternal Leela? She would have been uplifted, but entrance directly into the eternal realm is a rare acquisition. Sri Acharyaji's lineage spread in order to give the gift of relationship with the eternal Brahmasambandha. Some of his disciples were ordained to initiate souls with the Lord's name, but not with Brahmasambandha. This must be given by direct lineage holders within Sri Vallabha's lines. Given by another, it is said not to grant the ultimate reward. This is the doubt here arisen, and here is the explanation. The prostitute's daughter dropped her body and entered directly into the eternal Leela. Sri Swamiji and Sri Lalitaji are always present there. Here, Krishna Das is Sri Lalitaji in the Leela, and so he was able to release the girl from this world and send her back. There, Sri Lalitaji arranged for Sri Swamiji to personally grant her the Brahmasambandha, and Sri Lalitaji engaged her directly into the Seva. This is because in that realm she is a Sakhi of Sri Lalitaji. This is how she did attain the Brahmasambandha position. This situation is the same as when Sri Gosaiji arranged for the daughter of a man from Mathura to attain Brahmasambandha in the Leela realm. This is the way to understand this state of affairs. Part 5 continued. This shows the status of Krishna Das as a very accomplished Vaishnava. He was able to arrange for the prostitute's daughter to be accepted into the eternal pastimes of the Lord. Part 6. One day all the Vaishnavas gathered together and went to visit Kumban Das. He lovingly invited them to sit down and said, "It is great grace that you have all come to see me here today. What can I do for you?" They replied, "We would like you to teach us about the ways and rules of the path of grace." He replied, "Krishna Das, the manager, is very clever in these matters. Ask him, he will teach you everything." The Vaishnavas said, "We are not able to even ask Krishna Das such a question." Kumban Das replied that they should accompany him and that he would ask on their behalf. The Vaishnavas all went with Kumban Das. Bhav Prakash. Kumban Das's heart and mind were always fully occupied with the Lord's very personal pastimes. If he had started talking, he might have revealed some pastimes not suitable to be heard by everyone. In his compositions, Kumban Das does describe the secret pastimes, but he does it in such a way that the listener will only understand as much of it as he is qualified to hear, and according to the degree of the devotee's experience. If Kumban Das had started to open up those Leelas to all these Vaishnavas, he would have had to explain everything right from the beginning and in detail. This is why he brought them all to Krishna Das. Krishna Das was very happy to see all the Vaishnavas, and he respectfully sat them down. He sang one song. Pad Rag Sarang you will know that Sri Krishna, upholder of the Sri Giriraji mountain, has made a soul his own, when they wish only to serve devotees and crave the touch of the dust of the devotees' feet. Their heart lies with the devotees, their goal is the devotees. They see the Lord and his devotees as one. The poet Krishna Das now sings, I give my mind, speech and actions to those devotees who are always with the Lord and who keep him in their hearts. Part 6 continued. Having sung this poem, Krishna Das addressed the Vaishnavas present. You bless me greatly by coming to see me, all of you, accomplished Vaishnavas. Now, please be happy to ask anything of me and I shall try to do exactly that. Kumbhan Das spoke up. All the Vaishnavas here would like to learn about the rules and ways of this path of grace. What should they say and what should they remember in order to experience the essence of the path of grace? Please instruct us. Krishna Das said, O Kumbhan Das, you are more than qualified to tell them all this. You are a great disciple of Sri Acharyaji, and so it is appropriate that you tell them. You are also my elder, so how can I speak in front of you? There is nothing that you do not know. Kumbhan Das replied, I will do whatever you say. You are, after all, in charge of all those who are active in the Lord's Seva here. They do whatever you tell them, and you are in fact the manager of the path of grace, so please do teach us. Krishna Das started off by writing a poem about the 8-syllabled mantra. Pada Rag Saranga. Speak up. Say Krishna, Sri Krishna is my only refuge. Say it day and night, always and at every hour and every moment, and then it will remove every single one of your sins. As you do, you will experience the Lord who removes all sorrow, and the Lord of Vraja, and without effort you will swim across the ocean of material existence. You will feel bliss in your heart day and night, and the knowledge of the essence of every pastime of the Lord will be established in your heart. Lakshmi, Brahma, Shiva, Shesha, Shanak, and the other great sages, as well as Saraswati, Vyasdev, and Narad, chant it ceaselessly. Krishna Das now reveals, you will attain perfect surrender to that Sri Krishna, the upholder of the Sri Giriraj mountain, with all his incomparable greatness, whom even the Vedas fail to describe adequately. Part 6 continued. After explaining the inner meaning of the 8-syllable mantra, Krishna Das proceeded to reveal the meaning of the 5-syllable mantra, Panchakshar mantra, Pad Rag Sarang. In your heart of hearts, know Sri Krishna to be your one and only goal. Know also that your body, senses, life, breath, spouse, home, wealth, and even your soul are all exclusively Krishna's. Sri Krishna is my beloved Lord, and I am his servant. Nourish this mellow in your heart through your mind, speech, and actions, knowing that it is really he who is the doer. The poet Krishna Das now states that he knows Sri Krishna, the upholder of the Sri Giriraj mountain, to be his Lord, and that he is the servant. He has come to know this by mixing the dust of the feet of Sri Vallabh into his mind. Krishna Das sang these 2 poems to the Vaishnavas. They were all very happy to hear them and said, Oh Krishna Das, thank you so much. These 2 poems have dispelled all our doubts. You have taught us all the fundamental principles of this path. When they had taken their leave of Krishna Das, they all went home. Krishna Das was in this way a greatly accomplished recipient of Sri Acharyaji's grace. Part 7. Krishna Das had a lot of affection for Gangabai Kshatrani, Bhav Prakash. In the eternal Leela, Gangabai is a gopi in the Shruti Rupa group and has a tamasi nature. She was born into a Kshatriya family in Mathura. She was married off to the son of another Kshatriya in Mathura when she was 11 years old. She had 9 sons who all died very soon, and then she gave birth to a daughter. Gangabai got her daughter married off. The girl was given many, many gold ornaments and jewellery, but then she also died. The girl's jewellery was worth 100,000 rupees. Gangabai hid them all. She gave them to the local ruler in Mathura and kept the rest. She gave some to the local ruler in Mathura and kept the rest. When she reached the age of 55, there was a lot of fighting going on around in Mathura, and so she came to live in Jatipura, Srinathadwara. When she met Krishna Dasji, she requested to become a disciple of Sri Acharyaji. Krishna Das asked Sri Acharyaji to accept Gangabai as his disciple. Sri Acharyaji said that she was definitely a divine soul, but at that present time her mind was not focused on the Lord. Krishna Das insisted, O Maharaj, with your blessing Sri Govardhan Nathji will surely grace her. On Krishna Das's insistence, Sri Acharyaji initiated her with the Lord's name and Brahma Sambandha. When Krishnadas travelled outside Vraja to collect donations, then Gangabai went back to Mathura. When Krishnadas returned, she would again move all her stuff back to Jetipura. Krishnadas always made sure that Srinathji's Mahaprasad was sent to her twice a day, and Gangabai was fond of eating, and Krishnadas made sure that the offerings made to Srinathji were exquisite. In this way, he brought her mind around to the devotional path. He also made sure that she had the holy sight of the Lord at every opportunity. Through Krishnadas's company, Gangabai's mind and heart turned to devotion. Part 7 continued. One day, when Sri Gosaiji was making the lunchtime offering, Gangabai cast a wishful eye upon the preparations to be offered. Therefore, Srinathji did not accept them. Sri Gosaiji accepted the offerings back, performed the arti ceremony, and put Sri Govardhan Nachi to his midday rest. He then went down into Jyotipura. The temple servants and priests partook of the prasad. Sri Gosaiji then partook and settled down to a brief rest. After this, Sri Govardhan Nachi went to the head priest Ramdas and woke him up with a kick. Ramdas woke up and saw the Lord in front of him. He prostrated to the Lord and then stood humbly before him with folded hands. The Lord told Ramdas that he was hungry. Ramdas humbly supplicated, "But my dear Lord, Sri Gosaiji made the offerings, so why are you still hungry?" He replied, "The offerings were polluted by Gangabai's impure vision, and so I did not accept them." Ramdas went straight to Sri Gosaiji and woke him up by pressing his feet. Then he told him that the Lord was still hungry because Gangabai had looked wishingly at the lunchtime offerings and therefore Srinathji had not touched them. Hearing this, Sri Gosaiji jumped up and bathed and entered the temple. Ramdas also bathed, and soon after all the other temple servants bathed and arrived there. Sri Gosaiji decided to offer items suitable for the cold season and told them to prepare rice with buddies, little moon bean dumplings. It will be ready quickly, so let's begin. When it was all ready, Sri Gosaiji made the offering. Then they prepared all the other lunch items for the lunchtime offering, and then again for the evening mealtime offerings, and offered them all together. When the correct amount of time had passed, Sri Gosaiji accepted back the prasad and settled the Lord down to take rest for the night. And then he came out of the templing. He took one basket full of rice and dumplings down to the village. He gave a little of it to each of the temple servants, and he also ate a little of it. It was extremely tasty, and Sri Gosaiji was praising it. Afterwards, Ramdas approached Sri Gosaiji and said, "We have prepared this dish many times throughout the cold season, but it has never tasted as nice as it did today." Sri Gosaiji said that this was because the Lord had been feeling hungry, and so he had eaten it very lovingly. Therefore, the taste was supernatural. At that time, Krishnadas was standing close to Sri Gosaiji. He said, "O Maharaj, it was indeed yourself who prepared the offerings and yourself again who enjoyed them. So why would they then not be extremely tasty?" Sri Gosaiji replied, "This whole situation has arisen because of your indulgence." We will conclude today's reading here, and tomorrow we will continue with the Bhav Prakash for this particular Varta. आज के आनंद की जय हो, श्री आचार्य जी की जय हो, श्री कृष्णदास की जय हो, जय जय श्री राधे।